My name is Diego, and I was there when Anna's story changed forever. It was a chilly evening on October 15th, the air thick with tension as she stood on the steps of the cafe where she once shared laughter with her ex-husband. Her heart raced, and even though she smiled, a shadow of doubt flickered in her eyes. That day, Anna had learned that the man she trusted had betrayed her in the most unimaginable way, leaving her with a shattered sense of self-worth. The smell of rain on the pavement mingled with the sweet scent of blooming jasmine, but all she could hear were the distant wind chimes, echoing the fragility of her hopes. Each note pierced her like a reminder of what she had lost, the betrayal weighing heavily on her soul. It was just days earlier that they had sold the house, their home filled with memories that now felt tainted by deceit. The sale was supposed to mark a new beginning, but instead it had unveiled the cracks in her once perfect world. She smiled but trembled, masking the storm inside. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that this betrayal would set off a chain of events that would forever alter the course of her life and those around her. As she stood there, the cafe's familiar facade seemed to mock her, a stark reminder that sometimes the places we cherish hold the weight of our greatest losses. The summer sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the neighborhood. Anna stood at the edge of her backyard, the vibrant sounds of laughter and music drifting in from the block party next door. The scent of sizzling barbecue wafted through the air, mingling with the rich aroma of her morning coffee still lingering in the cup on the patio table. She smiled, feeling a surge of hope and connection with her community. "Can you believe it's been a year since we started these block parties?" David called out, his voice cheerful as he approached, a plate stacked high with ribs and coleslaw in his hands. "Time flies when you're having fun," Anna replied, taking a moment to admire the spread of food, the colorful decorations, and the neighbors mingling freely. The wind chimes hanging from her porch danced in the gentle breeze, creating a melody that felt like a comforting embrace. "It's like we're all one big family here," David added, a grin spreading across his face. Anna nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude for the life she had built here, in this house that had seen so many memories, her grandmother's laughter, the warmth of family gatherings, and now a newfound sense of community. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with streaks of orange and pink, Anna felt a pang of nostalgia. She remembered afternoons spent with her grandmother in this very yard, planting flowers and sharing stories. "Oh my God, I can't believe how much this place means to me," she whispered to herself, her heart heavy with the weight of cherished memories. Later that afternoon, after the block party had quieted down, Anna retreated to her garden, the tranquil space filled with the fragrance of blooming roses and freshly turned soil. Kneeling down, she gently pulled weeds from around her grandmother's favorite flowers, lost in thought. Reflection. That moment in the backyard changed everything. The sun warmed her back, and she felt the gentle caress of the breeze, as if her grandmother was right there beside her, guiding her hands. "I wish you could see how beautiful it all is," she murmured, a tear escaping down her cheek. Just then, the sound of laughter from the front yard caught her attention, pulling her from her reverie. She stood up, brushing off the dirt from her knees, and headed toward the front of the house. As she stepped onto the porch, she saw Mark leaning against the fence, chatting animatedly with Lisa. "Anna, come join us," Mark called, his charm on full display. She approached cautiously, feeling a sense of unease settle in her stomach. "What's going on?" Anna asked, her voice steady but laced with curiosity. Lisa turned to her, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes plastered on her face. "We were just talking about how great it would be to have a bigger backyard, for more block parties." Anna raised an eyebrow, sensing the undercurrent of something more. "A bigger backyard? You mean my backyard?" Mark chuckled, but there was a hint of something darker in his eyes. "Well, you could always move. It's a seller's market right now." "Move?" Anna's heart sank at the suggestion, confusion swirling within her. Why would I want to move? This is my home. Come on, Anna, think about it. You could get a good price for this place and start fresh somewhere new. It's not like you have any ties to it anymore, Mark replied, his tone casual, as if he were discussing the weather. Thought, the smell of BBQ brought painful memories. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. What do you mean, no ties? This house is filled with memories. My grandmother's legacy lives here. Memories don't pay the bills, Anna, Lisa interjected, her voice sharp. You need to think practically for once. Anna stared at her sister, disbelief washing over her. Are you really saying this right now? Look, it's just business, Mark said, shrugging. You've got to think about your future. Suddenly, it hit her. The laughter, the camaraderie, the block party, it all felt like a setup. The realization twisted in her gut like a blade. Oh my God, she breathed, her mind racing. You both are in on this, aren't you? You want to sell my house without even talking to me first? Lisa and Mark exchanged a glance, a silent agreement passing between them. No, Anna, we just want what's best for you, Mark said, but his eyes were cold. The warmth of the summer day faded as the reality of her situation set in. Preserve the original language of the ground beneath her was crumbling, the safety of her home now a distant memory. Get out, she said, her voice steady despite the storm raging inside her. You're both dead wrong if you think this is going to happen. As they turned to leave, Anna's heart raced with a mixture of fear and determination. She couldn't let them take away everything she held dear. This wasn't just about a house. It was about her past, her family, and her fight to reclaim what was rightfully hers. Anna gazed out the window. What a beautiful day, she whispered. Mark noticed her distant look. You seem lost in thought. The sun hung low in the sky as Anna drove down her familiar street, her heart light with the anticipation of returning home. The scent of fresh pancakes wafted through the open window, mixing with the aroma of morning coffee brewing somewhere nearby. Birds chirped cheerfully, adding a soundtrack of normalcy to her thoughts. It had been a long week away for work. But finally, she was back to her cozy living room, where the walls held the laughter of countless family gatherings. However, as she turned the corner onto her block, a jarring sight met her eyes. The vibrant green of her lawn was marred by a bold, "Sold" sign, the bright red letters practically screaming at her. Her heart sank, a wave of confusion washing over her. Who would sell her house without her knowledge? Panic settled in her chest as she pulled into the driveway, the familiar path now feeling alien under her feet. Maybe it's just a mistake, she whispered to herself, desperately clinging to hope. She grabbed her bag and rushed toward the front door, her mind racing with possibilities. As she entered the living room, the emptiness echoed around her, amplifying her sense of loss. The furniture was gone, leaving only the faint outline of where her beloved couch had once sat. Oh my God, this can't be happening, Anna muttered, her voice trembling. It was a surreal moment, one she never imagined experiencing. Just last week, she had been planning her daughter's birthday party, and now her home was stripped away as if it had never existed. She dialed the local bank, her fingers shaking. Hi, I need to speak to someone about my mortgage. There seems to be a problem, she said, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. Please hold, the operator replied, the hold music a jarring contrast to the chaos in her mind. After what felt like an eternity, a representative came on the line. Ma'am, I'm looking at your account, but there's a bit of confusion. It appears your loan has been transferred, and the sale, well, it seems no one authorized it through our records. What do you mean no one authorized it? Anna felt her voice rise, the injustice fueling her anger. I didn't sell my house. Who could possibly do that? We'll need to investigate further, the representative said, her tone sympathetic yet detached. Can you come down to the bank? We'll need your identification. Sure, I'll be there in a minute, Anna replied, hanging up as a fresh wave of disbelief crashed over her. She couldn't help but think of Mark. He had always been charming, smooth-talking his way through life, and now she was left wondering if he had orchestrated this betrayal. In her car, Anna's mind raced. She felt like she was driving through a dream, each turn leading her deeper into a nightmare. The familiar streets now felt foreign, twisted by her grief. When she arrived at the bank, the smell of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the tense atmosphere inside. "Anna," David exclaimed, rushing to her side as she walked in. "What happened? You look like you've seen a ghost." "My house, it's sold," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "I don't even know how. I was gone for a week, and now it's like everything I worked for is just gone." David's expression shifted to one of concern. "Have you spoken to Mark? I know you two have been, well, you know." "Of course he's involved. I can feel it," she replied, her heart racing. "He always wanted to take control. I can't believe he'd go this far." "Let's get to the bottom of this," David said, his tone resolute. "I'll help you figure it out." As they approached the counter, Anna couldn't shake the feeling that the answers she sought were hidden somewhere beneath layers of betrayal. The bank employee looked up, her expression neutral. "How can I assist you today?" Anna took a deep breath. "I need to understand why my house was sold without my consent. I want to know who authorized this." The bank employee began typing away, her fingers clicking rhythmically on the keys, but Anna's thoughts drifted back to Lisa. Her sister had always been envious of Anna's life, the perfect home, the loving family. Did Lisa have a hand in this too? "Your account was flagged for irregular activity," the bank employee said, her brow furrowing. "It seems there were documents filed claiming you had defaulted on your loan. But that's impossible. You've always kept up with payments, right?" "Yes, I don't understand how this could happen," Anna said, her voice rising again. "I was out of town. There's no way I could have defaulted." "Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't release any more information without proper authorization," the employee replied, her gaze shifting to the screen. Anna felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "This isn't over," she said, determination flooding her voice. "Someone is going to pay for this." In that moment, she realized this wasn't just about her home. It was about her home, her trust, her family, and the betrayal that had shattered everything she held dear. Reflection. That moment at the bank changed everything. The weight of it pressed down on her as she stepped outside, ready to confront the darkness that had crept into her life. Anna took a deep breath. "We need to have a serious conversation." Mark tensed up. "About what exactly?" Anna stood in the backyard, the warm sun casting a golden glow on the remnants of the block party that had been her refuge just moments ago. The aroma of BBQ lingered in the air, mingling with the bitter scent of her morning coffee as she tried to process the enormity of what she had just discovered. Her heart sank deeper with each passing second, the laughter of neighbors now feeling like a cruel joke. She turned abruptly, spotting Mark leaning casually against the fence, a smirk playing on his lips that only fueled her anger. "What were you thinking?" Anna demanded, her voice trembling with a mix of disbelief and fury. "You sold my house without telling me?" Mark shrugged, his charm slipping into something colder. "I was struggling, Anna. I thought it could help both of us. A quick fix, you know?" He gestured toward the house, as if the decision had been as simple as flipping a coin. "You've been gone. I didn't think you'd mind." "Oh my God! I can't believe this!" Anna's voice rose, trembling with the weight of betrayal. "You had no right to do this. That was my home." Mark stepped closer, attempting to soften the blow. "Listen, I wanted to take care of us. You're always so busy with your life. I thought this was the best move." Behind him, Lisa appeared, her expression a mix of curiosity and feigned innocence. "Anna, wait, maybe Mark has a point." Her voice dripped with a false sweetness that made Anna's stomach churn. "Have you thought about what it means for your future?" "Future?" Anna echoed, incredulity coloring her tone. "You mean your future? By selling my house while I was away? You both knew how much that place meant to me." David, who had been watching from a distance, stepped forward. "Anna, let's think this through," he urged gently. "We need to get the full story. Mark, who did you sell it to?" Mark hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. Just a local agent I know." "He's got inside knowledge about the market," Lisa chimed in. "Yeah, he seemed really eager to help. It's a hot market right now, Anna. It could be a good move for you." "No!" Anna interjected, her voice echoing in the stillness of the backyard. "You don't get to spin this. You both conspired while I was away. What else are you hiding?" Mark's eyes narrowed, the charm fading completely. "You don't understand. I'm doing what I can to survive. The bills were piling up, and I thought..." "Thought what?" Anna interrupted, her breath quickening. "That selling my home would solve your problems? By using me as collateral?" The air thickened with tension, a silence enveloping them as they all processed the weight of her words. It wasn't just about the house. It was about trust, about family, about the foundation that was supposed to hold them together. Anna's eyes blazed with fury. "You both acted like I wasn't even in the picture. You didn't think to call me? To discuss it?" Mark shifted uncomfortably. "I figured you'd understand once it was done. It's just business." "Business?" Anna spat, her heart racing. "This isn't just business. This is my life." David placed a hand on her shoulder, a reassuring presence amidst the chaos. "Anna, let's get more information. We can still fight this." But before she could respond, a figure stepped into the yard, a man in a sharp suit carrying a briefcase. "Hi there, I'm Jerry, the real estate agent," he introduced himself, a wide grin plastered on his face. "Mark's told me all about you, Anna. You're going to love what I have to say." "Oh, great," Anna muttered under her breath, her heart racing as she realized the depth of Mark's betrayal. "Just what I need, more lies." "Look, I can assure you," Jerry began, but Anna cut him off. "Save it. I don't want to hear anything from you or Mark," she said, feeling the fury building within her. "You both have crossed a line." Jerry's smile faltered, and he exchanged a glance with Mark. "I just want to help you maximize your investment. The market is booming, and this sale could mean big returns." Anna shook her head, disbelief flooding her veins. "My investment? You think I care about money right now? You took my home." Mark stepped forward, frustration etching lines on his face. "You don't understand. I was trying to help." "No!" Anna shouted, cutting him off again. "You were trying to help yourself." Cultural reflection. In the backyard, it hurt like betrayal. She felt the weight of her family's disloyalty pressing down on her. She had trusted them, and now she stood alone, facing the consequences of their greed. As the realization sank in, Anna felt a surge of determination. "I'm not going to let this happen," she declared, her voice steadying with resolve. "I'll find a way to reclaim my home. You might have thought you could sell it out from under me, but you underestimated me. I will fight for what's mine." Mark opened his mouth to respond, but Anna turned away, her heart racing with a newfound energy. She would not be a victim. As she stepped back into the house, she felt the echoes of betrayal fade, replaced by a fierce determination. This was her fight, and she would not back down. "I can't believe you did this," Anna exclaimed. Mark tried to explain, but words failed him. The scent of fresh coffee wafted through Anna's living room as she paced nervously, her mind racing. The wind chimes outside sang softly, a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing inside her. She had spent the past few days in a fog, trying to make sense of the surreal reality Mark had thrust upon her. Now, the weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air, pressing down on her like the dark clouds that threatened rain outside. "David, I really can't believe he did this," Anna said, her voice trembling. She clutched the letter from the bank in her hand, the words burning into her memory. "A foreclosure notice? How could he have let this happen?" David leaned against the doorframe, his expression one of concern. You need to talk to someone at the bank. Maybe there's a misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" Anna repeated, incredulous. "Oh my God, this isn't just a misunderstanding. Mark sold our house while I was away, and now I find out he took out a second loan without telling me." Her heart sank as the realization hit her. She had trusted him, believed in his charm, only to be blindsided by his deceit. The rain began to patter against the window, a rhythmic reminder of the storm brewing both outside and within. As she gazed out, her thoughts drifted to Lisa. How could her sister have stood by and allowed this to happen? The envy that had always simmered just beneath the surface had finally boiled over. "Let's go to the bank, Anna. You need answers," David urged gently, trying to pull her from her thoughts. Anna nodded, her resolve hardening. She couldn't let Mark's betrayal go unchallenged. As they drove through the rain-soaked streets, the world outside felt distorted. Colors muted, sounds softened. When they finally arrived at the bank, the fluorescent lights cast an unflattering glare, but Anna steeled herself. Inside, the air was thick with tension as she approached the desk of the bank manager, a stern-looking woman with sharp features and an even sharper gaze. "I'm here about a foreclosure notice," Anna said, her voice steady despite the storm in her heart. "I need to understand what's happening with my mortgage." "Please take a seat," the manager replied, her tone cool and professional. As Anna sat, she could feel David's reassuring presence beside her, but the anxiety gnawed at her insides. "Can you tell me why this is happening?" Anna pressed, her heart racing. The manager adjusted her glasses, flipping through some documents. "It appears there have been missed payments over the last few months. A second loan was also taken out under your name." Anna felt the ground shift beneath her. "A second loan? I never authorized that. Mark," her voice faltered as the implications washed over her. "He did this without my consent?" "Unfortunately, yes," the manager confirmed, her voice devoid of sympathy. "Your ex-husband has been managing the account." Anna's stomach churned. How could he do this? She turned to David, her eyes wide with disbelief. "I trusted him completely. He took advantage of me when I was vulnerable." David squeezed her hand, grounding her in the moment. "We'll figure this out, Anna. You deserve to have your voice heard." Anna took a deep breath, the air thick with the scent of rain and regret. "I need to speak to Mark. This isn't over." As she left the bank, her mind raced with thoughts of how to confront Mark. The betrayal ran deeper than she had imagined. It was one thing to sell her house, but to take out a loan without her knowledge? The anger bubbled to the surface, fueling her determination. "Do you think he planned this all along?" Anna asked, her voice tense as they walked to the car. "I don't know, but it feels calculated," David replied thoughtfully. "You need to confront him with everything you know." With a heavy heart and a newfound clarity, Anna resolved to take control of her life. She would no longer be a victim of Mark's deceit. As they drove back through the rain, the world outside felt different. The storm was cleansing, washing away the remnants of her old life, preparing her for what lay ahead. "David, I have to confront him," Anna said, her voice steady now. "I won't let him get away with this." David nodded, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. "That's the spirit, Anna. You're stronger than you think." In that moment, something shifted within her. The betrayal had opened her eyes, igniting a fire she didn't know she had. She was ready to fight for her home, her life, and most importantly, for herself. "David, I have to confront him," Anna said, her voice steady now. "I won't let him get away with this." David nodded, a glimmer of pride in his eyes. "That's the spirit, Anna. You're stronger than you think." In that moment, something shifted within her. The betrayal had opened her eyes, igniting a fire she didn't know she had. She was ready to fight for her home, her life, and most importantly, for herself. Anna's heart raced with a mix of fear and exhilaration. She was no longer the passive player in this game. She was ready to take back control, to reclaim what was rightfully hers. As they pulled into her driveway, the rain began to lighten, and for the first time in days, Anna felt a flicker of hope. The battle ahead would be tough, but she was determined to face it head-on. She wouldn't let Mark's betrayal define her. It was time to reclaim her power. "My heart sank," Anna whispered in disbelief. "I can explain everything," Mark said desperately. The air in Anna's backyard hung heavy with the scent of rain on pavement, a promise of renewal amidst the chaos of her life. She stood at the edge of her property, the vibrant memories of family gatherings and laughter echoing in her mind, now tainted by betrayal. The distant hum of traffic blended with the rhythmic patter of raindrops, creating a backdrop that felt almost mocking. The block party she had anticipated attending seemed a world away, replaced by the bitter reality of her situation. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Anna gathered her neighbors, a mix of familiar faces and new acquaintances, to share her story. She could see the concern etched on their faces, some shaking their heads in disbelief. "I can't believe Mark would do this to you," one neighbor whispered, her voice barely rising above the murmurs of the crowd. "He's always been charming, but this is beyond reason," Anna replied, her voice steady despite the tremors of emotion beneath. "I need all of you to help me. We can't let them take my home. We can't let Mark and Lisa think they can just walk all over us." With each word, she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. Anna rallied the group, discussing plans to form a coalition against the new owners and the bank. They exchanged ideas about organizing a protest, a show of solidarity that would send a powerful message. The notion of reclaiming her home filled her with renewed strength. "Let's meet tomorrow to discuss the details. I've been researching real estate law. We need to be armed with the right information," she declared, the determination in her voice resonating through the gathering. "We can fight this, and we will fight this together." As the crowd began to disperse, Anna felt the weight of the world beginning to lift, if only slightly. She would not stand by and let her home slip away without a fight. That night, she sat at her kitchen table, the flickering light of a lone lamp illuminating stacks of legal documents and notes. The quiet hum of the house wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, yet the silence also served as a reminder of the turmoil outside. That moment in the backyard changed everything. Anna realized she wasn't alone in this fight. She had a community behind her. The hours melted away as she pored over each page, highlighting crucial points that could serve as leverage in court. It was in the midst of this research that she stumbled upon a shocking detail. Mark had not only sold the house without her consent, but he had also taken out a second loan against the property without her knowledge. "Why would he do this?" she murmured, her heart sinking as the implications of his deceit washed over her. The betrayal felt deeper than she could have imagined. She picked up her phone and texted David. "I found something. It's worse than I thought." Moments later, her phone buzzed with his reply. "I'm here for you. Let's meet. You're not in this alone." Anna took a deep breath, feeling a swell of gratitude for David's unwavering support. He had always been there, a constant in her life when everything else seemed to crumble. The next day, they met at a local coffee shop, the rich aroma of brewing coffee mingling with the sweet scent of pastries, a stark contrast to the heaviness in her heart. "Anna, you're going to get through this," David reassured her as they settled into a booth. "You're stronger than you realize. Let's go over what you found." As she recounted her findings, his expression shifted from concern to determination. "We need to confront Mark together. He needs to be held accountable for this. He can't just waltz back into your life and act like he owns everything," David said, his tone firm. Anna nodded, feeling the fire of resolve reignite within her. "You're right. I won't let him take what's rightfully mine. Not anymore." Cultural reflection. The smell of coffee brought painful memories of mornings spent in this cafe, but today it also filled her with a sense of purpose. As the days turned into weeks, Anna's research deepened, and she started to feel more confident about her case. She poured her energy into organizing the protest, reaching out to others who had faced similar injustices. Each night, the glow of her laptop illuminated the determination etched on her face. Then came the twist. Just as they were about to finalize the details of the protest, Lisa reached out, claiming she wanted to meet. Anna felt a mix of anger and curiosity. Why would Lisa want to talk now? "Don't trust her," David warned when she relayed the message. "She's part of this betrayal too. What could she possibly want?" "I have to hear her out," Anna insisted, her voice steady but laced with uncertainty. "I need to understand what she has to say." It was a decision that would change everything once again. As Anna prepared for the meeting, she felt a sense of foreboding settle in her stomach. The rain began to fall outside, tapping against the windows, a reminder of the storm that was brewing both inside her heart and in the world around her. Anna clenched her fists. "I don't want to hear any more excuses." Mark hung his head. "I'm truly sorry." The town hall was buzzing with the low hum of anxious chatter as Anna stepped inside, clutching a folder filled with evidence. The smell of morning coffee wafted through the air, mingling with the scent of BBQ from a nearby food truck. She felt her heart race as she approached the front, where the community gathered to discuss the recent sale of her house. "Hey, Anna," David called out, waving her over. He looked concerned but supportive, a reassuring presence amidst the chaos. "You ready for this?" Anna took a deep breath, forcing herself to nod. "I can't believe it's come to this. I feel like I'm fighting for my life here." David frowned. "Just remember, you have the truth on your side." As the meeting began, Anna's pulse quickened. She had spent countless hours piecing together the truth. Mark's underhanded dealings, Lisa's jealousy-driven betrayal, and the fraudulent documents that had slipped through the cracks. When her turn came, she stood at the podium, her hands trembling slightly as she glanced at the crowd. "Thank you all for being here," Anna said, her voice steadying. "I'm here to reveal the truth about the sale of my house, which was executed without my knowledge or consent. I have evidence that proves this was a fraudulent transaction." A murmur swept through the crowd, and she could see the faces of her neighbors, many of whom had trusted her. She continued, holding up the documents. "These papers show that Mark took out a second loan and lied about it. He used my absence to exploit our family's trust." "Wait, are you saying Mark sold your house?" a woman shouted from the back, disbelief coloring her tone. "Yes," Anna replied, feeling a surge of adrenaline. "And Lisa, my own sister, colluded with him. I can't believe I trusted her." "Wow, that's low," David muttered under his breath, shaking his head in disbelief. As Anna laid out the details, the tension in the room intensified. It was palpable, like the wind chimes outside, swaying in a sudden gust. She could see the new owners squirming in their seats, their faces growing pale. They exchanged nervous glances, clearly feeling the weight of Anna's revelations. "You're just making this up to get sympathy," one of the new owners sneered, leaning forward. "You have no idea what you're talking about." Anna took a step closer, her voice rising. "Oh my God, do you really think I would stand here and lie about this? My heart sank when I found out what had happened. You think I'd make this up for fun? This is my home, and you took it away from me." The crowd started to murmur again, their loyalties shifting as Anna's words sunk in. She could feel the support behind her growing stronger, a wave of solidarity rising in the room. David stood up, his voice loud and clear. "We all know Anna. She wouldn't lie about something this serious." With her heart pounding, Anna turned back to the crowd, her voice unwavering. "This isn't just about me. It's about the trust we place in our families and the lengths some will go to betray that trust. If they can do this to me, they can do it to anyone." The new owners exchanged frantic whispers, their confidence dwindling as the realization hit them. Anna wasn't just a victim, she was a force to be reckoned with. Then, just when Anna thought the confrontation couldn't get any more heated, a man from the back stood up. "I heard rumors about shady dealings when they bought the house. I thought it was just gossip, but maybe there's more to it." A gasp rippled through the crowd, and Anna's heart raced again, not from fear this time, but from the surge of hope. "You have evidence?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Maybe," he replied, pulling out a worn notebook from his jacket. "I noted down some conversations I overheard. It didn't sit right with me, but I didn't know how to report it." Anna's mind raced. This was the twist she hadn't anticipated. "This could change everything," she exclaimed. "We need to bring this to the authorities." The new owners shifted uncomfortably, their intimidation tactics failing as the tide turned against them. Anna felt a wave of empowerment wash over her. She was no longer alone in this fight. As the meeting drew to a close, Anna knew this was just the beginning. She had taken a stand, and with her community behind her, she felt ready to reclaim her life. "Together we can make this right," she declared, her voice strong and resolute. The wind chimes outside rang in agreement, a melodic promise of hope and justice. The betrayal had hurt deeply, but now it was time for healing, and Anna was determined to lead the way. As the last echoes of her words faded, she felt the energy in the room shift. People were rising from their seats, murmurs of agreement filling the air like a chorus of support. The sunlight streamed through the high windows, casting warm patches on the floor, illuminating hopeful faces. "Anna, we're with you," David called out, his voice ringing out clearly. "We'll help you gather more evidence. We won't let them get away with this." Anna nodded, grateful for his unwavering support. The thought of going through this ordeal alone had been overwhelming, but now she felt the strength of her community beside her. The man with the notebook approached her, his face earnest. "I'll share everything I have. We can meet later to go over it in detail." "Thank you," Anna replied, her voice barely above a whisper, her heart swelling with gratitude. The sound of rain began to patter softly against the windows, the rhythm soothing her nerves. "We need to act fast. They can't be allowed to take what's rightfully mine." A soft voice broke through her thoughts. "Anna, you have to be careful," another neighbor chimed in, concern evident in her eyes. "They might retaliate." "You know how they are." "I know," Anna replied, feeling the weight of anxiety tugging at her. "But I can't back down now. If I do, they win." The crowd began to disperse, but not before a few more neighbors approached her, offering their support and sharing their own stories of betrayal and deceit. Each shared experience wove a tighter bond among them, a web of resilience forming against the injustice they all despised. As she stepped outside, the rain had intensified, creating a refreshing scent that mingled with the BBQ smoke. The droplets danced on the pavement, mirroring the chaotic swirl of emotions within her. Anna inhaled deeply, letting the cool air fill her lungs. Today was just the beginning, but she could feel a shift, a momentum building that could not be ignored. "Let's meet at my house tonight," Anna suggested to David, who nodded in agreement. "We'll plan our next steps." The clouds hung heavy overhead, but amidst the gloom, preserved the original language of hope, a small fire igniting within her. With her community rallying behind her, she knew she had the strength to face whatever lay ahead. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over Anna's backyard as she stood there, the smell of fresh grass filling her lungs. Birds chirped merrily, a stark contrast to the whirlwind of emotions swirling inside her. Today was a pivotal day. She had fought tooth and nail to regain her home, her sanctuary, her family legacy. The court's decision echoed in her mind, a sweet melody of victory that made her heart flutter. As she stepped forward, the weight of the past few weeks pressed against her chest like a heavy stone. "I can't believe this is finally over," she murmured to herself, her heart still racing from the adrenaline of the courtroom drama. Anna could hardly recognize herself in the mirror these days. The devoted mother who had once trusted her family had transformed into a warrior fighting for her rights. A light knock on the door broke her reverie. It was Mark. He stood there, looking more vulnerable than she had seen him in years, his usual charm replaced by a somber expression. "Can we talk?" he asked hesitantly, his voice barely above a whisper. Anna hesitated, her pulse quickening. "What do you want, Mark?" she replied, crossing her arms defensively. The sunlight caught the glimmer of the ring she had once cherished, now a bittersweet reminder of their broken promises. "I know I messed up," he said, running a hand through his hair, "but I want to make things right. Can we just talk, please?" She took a deep breath, the scent of freshly brewed coffee wafting in from the kitchen. It was a familiar comfort, yet it felt tainted by betrayal. "Fine," she relented, stepping aside to let him in. As they settled at the kitchen table, a silence enveloped them, thick and tense. Anna poured 2 cups of coffee, the steam curling upwards like the unresolved feelings between them. "I didn't just lose a house, Mark," she finally said, her voice steady yet filled with hurt. "I lost trust. I lost faith in you." "I know," he replied, his voice tinged with regret. "I was selfish. I thought I could handle things without you. But this was never just about the house. I wanted to secure our future, and I thought that selling it would help." Anna felt her heart sink, the pain of his words washing over her like a cold wave. "And you thought I wouldn't care? You didn't even consult me. You just went ahead and made those decisions without me." Mark looked down, shame flickering in his eyes. "I thought you'd be gone for a while. I thought I could fix things before you got back." "Fix things? By betraying me?" she snapped, the heat of her anger igniting again. "Do you really think that's how this works?" He looked up, desperation mingling with sincerity. "I want to rebuild what we had, Anna. I want to be a better father, a better partner. I didn't realize how much I would miss everything until it was gone. Please, let's work together." In that moment, Anna felt a spark of something she hadn't expected: hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could start to mend the pieces together. "I can't promise you that it'll be easy," she said cautiously. "We have a long way to go. Trust isn't something you can just take back." "I understand," he replied, his voice steady, "but I'm willing to fight for it." As they sat there, the sun setting behind them, casting long shadows across the table, Anna realized that this moment, this fragile truce, was a step towards healing. The backyard felt different. The chirping of the birds seemed to echo a new beginning, a chance to rewrite their story. Cultural reflection. In the backyard, it hurt like heartbreak, but also like rebirth. "Maybe we can take it one day at a time," Anna suggested, her heart pounding but filled with a tentative optimism. "I'd like that," Mark said softly, relief washing over his features. Yet, just as hope began to blossom, a thought flickered in Anna's mind. What if there were still hidden truths lurking beneath the surface? What if Mark's actions had deeper consequences that she wasn't yet aware of? The past few weeks had unveiled enough darkness. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Anna glanced at Mark, their eyes meeting with a mix of uncertainty and possibility. "You know, they sold my house while I was away, but none of them knew who owned the bank loan," she said, her voice steady. "And now, I'm wondering what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered." Mark's expression shifted, a shadow crossing his face. "What do you mean?" With a deep breath, Anna leaned back, pondering the mysteries of trust and betrayal. "And you, on your porch, how far are you willing to go to protect what's yours?"